Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm rolling now. It is I, DJ Snaxx, back again with another episode of the Secret Gas Chamber. Today, I just decided to do a solo episode. I mean, what the hell, right? Now, I don't know what the hell I'm going to be talking about at all. In fact, I don't even know what I'm going to be going over. So just bear with me. So, I've been watching a lot of anime recently. And the anime that I've been watching have been a lot of fighting and epic based animes. Like some of you guys might know the essential animes like Dragon Ball Z and Naruto, which are great animes by the way. But I'm talking like the ones that are low key slept on. I guess you could say they're not really slept on, as a lot of people know about them, but I feel like not enough respect is put on the anime name. For example, the story arc of Bleach. If you're familiar with Bleach, it's very repetitive. It is basically a story of a 15-year-old boy who has a very strong spiritual power, and he's able to use those abilities with his friends to protect his friends, family, and the world from demons, ghosts, bounce, and other type bullshit in the show, whatever. But I'm not into it for the storyline. I'm into it for basically the power ups. Because with animes like Bleach and Dragon Ball Z, they get extremely repetitive. You have the side characters who are weak, and then you have the overpowered villain, and just for some unknown, ungodly reason, the main character has the ability to increase his power even far beyond what he even did, or she did during the training. And I just don't understand that. Like, if that worked in real life rules where you could train and do an entire training arc for maybe 30 minutes to like 2 hours and be able to be damn near 4 times as strong as what you were before the training, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how people will respond. Like, put down in the comments how you would respond if you had the ability to learn a skill or a certain power to make yourself more powerful in 30 minutes to 2 hours, and then later on, when you're using that skill in a task that may seem a bit too difficult for your need, you immediately have the know-how on how to complete that thing. And it's weird because you in everyday life you don't know what to do. If you had that anime power, you could do it. But we don't have that anime power. One of my favorite questions to ask in this universe is the question of what now? Because that's the only question that matters. Like, yeah, you can stick yourself in the past and ask questions like, why did I do that? And what could I have done different? But the past is in the past for a reason. It already happened. There's another phrase that I heard somewhere where it said, the past is history, the future is the past. No. It said, the past is history, the present is the future. The future. No. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It says, the past is history, the present is past, the future is now. I don't think that phrase has ever meant any more than it does in today's world. Don't worry, I'll elaborate. That phrase of the past is history, the present is past, the future is now, is basically going into the concept of what now. Because you can't stick yourself in the past. You can't change anything you've done. You can't change any of the decisions you've made. You can't change the things that you've done to people, and you can't change the things that people have done to you. Now, an interesting thing to go on that is the concept of time travel. The concept of time travel, which is used in multiple forms of media alike, um, delve into a concept where they go back in the past in order to change an event, but as soon as they change that event, their entire future changes. We don't have a time machine. And even if we did, these examples are meant to show us that there is still nothing we can do, because even if we went back and changed everything we did, we might not end up the same as what we were before. Now, some of us may be in a better position, some of us may be in a worse off position, depending on what you've done in your life and the circumstances that have ended up in your life. You may not have done anything, and things have just flown to you in a negative light, and that's okay. Because the only question that matters is what now? Okay, yeah, you didn't have a father in your life. Okay, what do you do now? If you're a male, theoretically, if you had any sort of value, you could potentially take the lesson of not having a father and be a very present father for your children in the future. Or if you don't even have children, being a present father figure, period. In the case of women, like, if well, it goes in either way, but like, say you had a man do you dirty, they cheated on you, dogged you down, called you all the names in the book, and did everything in their power to manipulate your mindset. Now, the concept of what now, theoretically, is supposed to potentially lead you to, like, make better decisions in choosing a potential partner, or look out for the signs of manipulation and abuse before it pops up again. That way you'll be able to get rid of it, you know? And so the question of what now is the only question I follow by. For example, I, DJ Snaxx, uh, you know, I complimentary to, like, not complimentary. What am I trying to say? Opposite to how I might perceive myself, or not even perceive myself. Protrude myself, or give myself out, or show myself to other people. Regardless of that, I'm not necessarily happy with the position that I am in my life. Now, that's a lot of people, and some of you may be happy with where you are in life. There's still a what now for that. But in my case, I'm not exactly happy in the position I am in my life. I mean, I am extremely thankful to God and the universe and the powers that be that I've been able to express myself the way I'm supposed to and learn certain lessons to move forward in life. But in the grand scheme of things, I'm not exactly where I want to be. So the question I ask myself is the question of the podcast, is the question of the day, of today's podcast, I suppose. Now, what now? So I sat down with myself. I started doing shadow work. I delved deep within myself, within my roots, and I tried to find what didn't match, what didn't fit, what was I doing wrong that wasn't benefiting me in the way that I needed it to benefit me, so that I can be at least contempt with how life is going, at least contempt with how the universe is folding for me, you know. And yes, now I'm into concepts such as manifestation and chakra realignment and enlightenment, but it delves deeper into that. I'm not exactly, I guess you could say, proud of the position I'm in. So I sat down with myself, gave myself the shadow work, delved deep into what exactly the fuck was wrong with me. and and despite the typical answer of, oh, this person did this, I felt this way when this happened, and going into the past, I decided to think about what I could do to get myself out of the situation. And that's where this comes in. This great little thing I have going on, the Secret Gas Chamber, the podcast. Now, I'm not sure what the hell is going to happen in the future. I'm not sure what's going to happen in the foreseeable future. I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow. But all I know is that I have the faith and the courage and the balls to go for something I enjoy doing. Within my shadow work, I started listening to a few podcasts. Most of them were recommended by friends, and I want to thank those friends. To those who know who I am, I want to thank those friends for recommending these podcasts. But the first podcast I want to recommend, or could say had a little bit of help in the what now question in my life, was Jumpers Jump. You know who you are, who recommended me that podcast. But it's basically a couple of young adults who are going through the same young adult bullcrap that any other young adult goes through. Potentially. Like I keep stating, I don't know anyone else's life. I don't know your stories, but whatever. And they just talk about theories and conspiracies and different ways and perceptions of the world. And some of the perceptions that they have go beyond what even older folks of older generations can do. Like some of the things that they say, like manifesting the positive of what you want into the world. There go into different things like black magic and chaos magic and regular manifestation and spiritual manifestation. There's different sorts of manifestations, but the manifestation they are talking about is just the positive one, the one that leads to a direct path through patience and diligence and work. A lot of that concept alone does not fall into, I feel, any generation. I feel like everyone's looking for a get out quick scheme now. Even in the era of like the greatest generation, even they had certain inventions that they came up with that led to, the future industrial revolution leading into the steel era that we are in now, and beyond, going into AI and stuff. I'm getting sidetracked. Um, but Jumpers Jump is just an all around great experience where they talk about aliens and conspiracies, and they just shoot the crap about how to be in this world and what it is like to have an experience in this world, to be a human being in this world. Another podcast that was recommended to me was Last Podcast on the Left. Now, this one is very special. The Last Podcast on the Left deals with the more darker tones in the universe that, people need to hear about. Serial killers, true crime horrors, creepy pastas, and other realms of understanding that people sometimes have a certain innate fear of. In that, if you took that opportunity, if you take the opportunity to try to understand the concepts of some of these things, you will realize that it's all around you. And so that's what the Last Podcast on the Left deals with. It goes into the darker side of the human experience. And the last podcast that kind of led my way into creating was Science Versus. Now, I found Science Versus by myself, and I'm a huge fucking science nerd. If you know me, you know I love space, chemistry, and all things that are science. I'm a man that prides himself on logic, proof, and experience, but I also have a side of spirituality and faith. Science Versus is strictly science. It delves into topics of drug addiction and sex addiction, and it's not just addiction, but those are some of the examples, some of the things that you wouldn't necessarily hear in a day-to-day life. Back to the topic. So, I digress. Back down to what we were talking about. These three podcasts helped me shape the what now aspect of me forming this secret gas chamber. Now, of course, I had help with this. The formation on how I wanted to bring it about, the creation of it, the directing of it, the topics I decided to talk about, what I wanted to do on there. Hell, the name wasn't even my idea. Thank you. You know who you are for the name. Wink. But like, that's just an example of the what now. Instead of sitting in the situation and continuing to be unhappy, I've decided to take an active and quite motive path towards what I want. I know myself enough to know that I'm confident enough to say that I'm a social acolyte. Like, I can socialize very well, and I can communicate very well, and I can express myself very well, and I could even say I potentially make a lot of close associates and friends very quickly. And I thank God and the universes and the powers that be every day for that ability. And even teaching, it's like learning, watching, and understanding the mannerisms and the humorous nature of the human experience. Now, I know I'm a social acolyte. I know that I have a lot of inspiration that I want to put out into the world. I know that I have not a lot knowledge that's just cooped up in this big meat sack that we're calling a brain, but is actually our collective consciousness and the energy collected by all the ancestors. That's going to be coming on later on in the podcast, so stay tuned. I'm stupid. But you know what I mean? It gets into a point where I know what I want to do. It's just what do I do? And then I get invited to experience these other worlds of podcasts. And trust me, there are tens more that I've been listening to, and they have inspired me to do this. But like, I want to put myself out there in the most, I guess you could say, risky but yet safe way possible. And here's what I mean by that. The risky part comes in the voice, in the communication, in the topics that you are talking about, and the confidence to actually, you know, put it out there. It's a risky move. It's a scary move. I forgot what I was talking about. Who cares? It's the secret gas chamber. I'm here, DJ Snaxx. How y'all doing? How's your day going? Here, let's take a moment to talk about y'all. How are y'all doing? Yeah? She said that? That's stupid. You should smack her. Will Smith smack her. Like, look, grab her by her pigtails or her ponytail or whoever is, messing with you. Look them in the eyes and say, "Keep my name out your fucking mouth." And then put your hand at a very cross 30-degree angle and smack the absolute dog meat out of them. Send them back to where they came from. Send them back to their roots. Anyway, the what now question. I know I wanted to do a podcast. I know I wanted to put myself out there. I know I wanted to do it. So here I am. Anticlimactic end, right? But the story is being written. This certain chapter in my life is being written currently. And you all are a part of it. Anyone who listens is a part of it. So thank you for being a part of my journey. Welcome. This is a side of YouTube I'm sure you're not really aware of. And even if you are, still, welcome. I'm an unknown right now, but you will know me. DJ Snaxx. In the secret gas chamber. Remember to ask yourselves, what now? What can I do? What can I do to get out of my current situation? What can I do to benefit myself and the people around me? What can I do to preserve my own energy and keep myself safe and sane? What can I do? What now? It's not even a concern of what happened. It's not even a concern of Why happened? Who happened? When happened? Like, yeah, sometimes these circumstances may fall into very precarious situations and events, but at the end of the day, it's always going to be what now? You guys are going to have to ask yourselves that question the same way I am. The whole world is going to have to eventually ask themselves, what now? That's the only question that matters. What now? I started talking about anime and I ended up on this whole spiel on the question of what now, but it's such an important question to ask yourself and to push yourself further into a realm of understanding and even uncomfortability. I'm very uncomfortable doing this because I have a certain circle of people and realm that I want to be in at any constant given moment. Sometimes I'm terrified to put myself out there, but the what now aspect pushed me to be like, okay, fuck it. You know? Why not say something, say some stuff, bring some friends, you know, have a great time. It's never too late to take your time and to ask yourself, what now? So that you have time, if you're a planner, to plan and execute. If you're not a planner and you're the fly by the seat of my pants type person and you know you're spontaneous, you go with the day's flow, you still have to ask, what now? There's going to be certain decisions on what you do during that day that you're going to have to make. And you're going to have to trust yourself and only yourself to make those decisions. You sadly cannot trust anybody out here. You sadly can't even trust yourself sometimes. It's a vicious cycle. But what now? How do we as humans get out of ourselves? How do we as humans break out of the evils that are within ourselves, that were within our ancestry and our genetic code? What is placed within our genetic code? How can we break cycles that are put upon us or that we make ourselves? It's a constant cycle of negative and positive energies and diligence. Yes. Talking is exhausting. It's tiring. But it's informative and useful. That's also something that fascinates me is the written language. The written and the spoken language. It's like, how do we have a species of being that is all one and the same with the same genetic codes and makeup and form and just with minor physique changes like facial structures, skin color, bodily structures, mental structures, physical structures, hell, even spiritual structures in most cases. But like, how do we go from there to like, I lost it. I lost it. It's the secret gas chamber, y'all. Who cares? Yeah. This was sort of like a one-off. I like doing this, just sitting here with the camera going, talking, explaining. Um, but sadly, that's the only thing with doing a podcast by yourself on some days. You run out of things to talk about, and you forget what you were talking about. You start going on tangents. That's just something that I'll go into. Like I said, you guys are part of this experience too. I'll listen to any feedback, any comments. Unless you're a dick, then I'm going to laugh at you in the comments. All right. This has been DJ Snaxx for the Secret Gas Chamber. This may be a one off. I'm not sure. Who cares? I hope y'all have a blessed time. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you guys learned a little bit of something. I certainly did. Even if it was stuff I already partially knew, you know? But in the grand scheme of how old the universe is, no matter if you're in your fucking hundreds, 110s, we are all young and dumb. And compared to the experience of the universe, we are all young and dumb. No one person is directly better and or smarter than anyone else. We're all just a speck in the universe, floating on a big blue giant water drop, basically. But that should take a load off. It should get some sort of freedom out, you know. I'm supposed to be leaving. DJ Snaxx out.